design podcast by two guys who know nothing about comedy nor game design. I'm Ben Slinger, and with me, as always, is Trevor Scott.
Hello.
Hey, and hey, Trevor, grab your choc tops.
And grab your popcorn, Ben.
Because we're going to do
Movie night.
That's right. So what we're doing tonight is we are using our random movie generator. Well, not generator, our random movie selector.
Yes.
It
picks from like the top, 10,000 movies of a selection of 10,000 movies anyway. I don't think this is the top.
Maybe not the top. We do get some weird ones sometimes. But what we're going to do is we're going to take either the titles or potentially even the full concept of the movie, and make video games from them, like we always do. It's always about making video games. It's just where we get our prompts from. Tonight it's movies.
Yes. So 3 to 1 movie.
Yeah, let's do it.
Click, clack, 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 clack.
All right.
Oh, look, here's one that I didn't get earlier.
Here's one I prepared earlier. Pixar's Soul from 2020.
Okay, I've got a movie from 2014 called Mockingbird.
Oh, okay.
I'll give you the
about?
synopsis because no one's heard of this film.
No.
A couple are given a camera and a set of instructions which they must follow or else someone will die.
Ooh, interesting.
And that to me sounds like the makings of a video game.
Maybe the way that we combine the two is just that something to do with like they're trying to capture a soul on the camera or something.
Yeah, I do like that.
So use the camera to capture someone's soul.
Yes.
Or like a lost soul or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I like the idea of a creepy game using the sort of camera mechanic. The Fatal Frame has been done in that way.
Yeah.
So we can veer away from that.
But it's never been done in VR.
Ooh.
Where you've actually got a camera in your hand and you're looking around the room.
Yeah, have there been many games that have used that mechanic?
No, because
it feels like
because I really like that idea of you look around the room, but then to actually see something, you have to look into the viewfinder.
You have to look through, or at least through the screen on the camera or something.
Yeah, so you get that sort of feeling of there's nothing there, and then when you look through the camera, whichever hand you have it in. It's like, oh shit, no, there is something there, and that's absolutely fucking terrifying. Well, and it very much gives you, it limits your perspective on you have to move into the right position, sort of, to be able to see through that lens well enough. Potentially, just because you've got that line of your sight through the line of sight of the camera, yeah,
to what you're doing, so you can't sort of, It's just got that added,
added tunnel vision
movement there, I guess. Yeah. So that's fun. Okay, so it was a couple in yours.
A couple are given the camera. I do like the idea of this being a co-op only game.
Ooh, yeah. I feel like that's not done much in VR either. Do you both have a camera, or only one of you has the camera? I wonder if you have to pass
I like
it
the
back
idea
and
that
forth.
you have one camera,
and then you could have some scenes where you're split up, but one person's in the security booth or something, looking through other cameras. You could use cameras in different ways and use different cameras, fixed cameras and that sort of thing. But yeah, there's only the one, the portable camera.
Because I've got to say, it's scary enough being in there by yourself, but if I could be in a scary game with someone else, that I might actually play, and it might get me even more scared, but I kind of want to play it because it's...
Well, I kind of love the idea of a co-op horror game where the other person who's in the next room might move and knock something over, and that scares you. You're literally creating your own jump scares between the two of you.
Yeah. Especially if, you got a nice set of rather than, having pure voice control, I like the idea of there being an easy cheat system that it discourages the use of Discord or something like that, so you can't have that continuous connection.
Yeah, you play the proximity-based audio.
Because there's something about that at
the very least you'd want to encourage it, yeah.
Yeah. In fact, you could even have it just as a setting within the game. If you could say this was a Quest exclusive, you could actually have it in there saying that, for the most part, we're going to use Oculus's like communication protocol and all this sort of stuff. But for the real immersive mode, use proximity mode, which you know still uses that, but only allows it when you're sort of close, and it otherwise attenuates like all the voice and
for sure.
Positional
Basically,
audio is key and all this sort of stuff. So
brings it into the world, makes it. Is it diegetic? Is that the word where it's more like what you actually hear instead of being sort of meta?
Yeah.
Speaking to them in the meta realm, the metaverse.
As it is now, the Meta Quest.
It's true. I like that. Particularly, having that immersive proximity mode, you know, I can imagine hearing someone like, because you have jump scares anyway like that in VR. Can you imagine hearing someone else's jump scare from across the room and realizing maybe like, oh, they're the one with the camera. Like, I can't see what's coming right now. Like, and having to yell out to them to like, come and get me or whatever.
Are you okay
cool.
in there? Please be okay. And
well, that's cool too if you're using the proximity, because the game could remove their ability to speak. Because can you imagine yelling? But like you've got some indicator on there or something
that says you cannot be heard.
You cannot be heard.
It's something flashing just right in the middle of right in the middle of your eye, so it's like right there. But I'm saying back a little bit so that it's
some sort of indicator. Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
So I'm almost picturing a horror VR It Takes Two in a way, where you do take on these different roles and you need to combine to solve the puzzles.
Yes.
So like, and obviously involving the camera in a lot of different ways. But like It Takes Two, you could use different aspects of the camera in different levels to really mix up the puzzles and the gameplay. So like in some, it could be, looking through the viewfinder to like follow ectoplasmic trails, and then sometimes you get ghosts that jump out or whatever, and you have to kill them or whatever, you know, whatever that is.
In another one, you're traveling through a house and you've only got the flash bulb.
Well, the flash was the next one that I was going to say that, you've got to use the flash to even just like, whether it's to scare off ghosts or to illuminate areas that you can then, you know, they'd have to stay illuminated so you could get around them. But
I like the idea that at one stage in the game you go back to like, you know, the 1980s, and you've got like Polaroid cameras or whatever, and you know, so just
that whether you travel back in time or just that for that level, that's the only camera that's available to you. Like you've lost, something's taken away the other camera. So it's not that just that you don't get that real time view. You literally have to like figure out what to do.
You have to actually put it up to your eye so you can look through the viewfinder and like.
Well, no, I think even then.
Yeah, but that's to know what you're taking photos of, and then you have to
know
actually
what you're taking photos of. But then you take it and you have to wait for it to see. Yeah, to see what's there.
There's obviously you've only got so many shots.
Well,
before you got to reload,
collect the film. I like that. Obviously, it couldn't be fast-paced gameplay in that situation. It would have to be
tense as all
more of a creeping dread.
Creeping dread. that classic song by Metallica,
yeah. But I can picture that, like you've got an empty doorway in front of you, but you know that you can't go through there unless you see what's there, and you wait. This thing slowly appears, and it's like this fucking dripping maw with guards next to it. I don't know, something super creepy.
Now you wouldn't do the typical wait of a Polaroid, which is a good 3 to 4 minutes.
Oh, no. It'd have to be just like
20
10 seconds or something, 20 seconds. But
it feels like forever, but not compared to real life.
And I guess you'd have to understand, you have to figure out where that tension is coming from then. Is it maybe that you'd be running away from something, so so you're basically playing up the risk of, there might be something on the, at this entrance to this door. We could just run through it, and risk getting immediately attacked or something. And you can only do that so many times, so you lose all your health or something. Or you can take the picture, be cautious, wait for it to go. But all the while you've got something kind of slowly creeping behind you. maybe like a It Follows style slow walking creature that you can look back and see how far it is. You know, it's not going to get any faster, but also, you know, you can't just keep moving away from it. That's cool.
It's kind of insane. I'm just thinking
creepy.
about one thing I don't like about a lot of these horror games out there is, as you said, the health. I'm sort of like, sort of turning me off. Like, I like the idea of, say, if you think about Fear, like the original game, Fear, that the ghost and the scary stuff wasn't the stuff that was going to kill you, because that was just for giving you the psychological fear sort of stuff, but it was more actual enemies in the game that were actually going to do the damage to you.
I guess you'd have to figure out how then, in a game like this, like what the actual challenge is.
I think you could get away with, like, telling a good story that is done through, you have to capture, you know, the ghost in this particular area, you know, capture the soul on film. And it's like, that's part of the challenge, that you're following the instructions as to kind of like a phasmophobia, but without the possibility of actually dying.
Being killed. I guess it's figuring out where the tension comes from then. Like, there needs to be some sort of, like, if we want tension in this Polaroid's taking 20 seconds. You can still fail this section. Yeah.
I think, you know, that adds to, you know, a potential different ending to the game or something like that. Like, because, you know, you kind of just ran through this whole place, you weren't taking any photos, but, you know, the ghost, you know, escapes or wasn't captured, and therefore, you know.
I think the other way to go with that, because I agree, just like, I got attacked by a ghost and lost a quarter of my health, isn't great. That maybe it's the other direction where it's one hit failure. Like, if you get caught by a ghost, you're fucked. But they move relatively slowly. You've got a sense of, like, they stay in the one spot unless disturbed or something. And so you're almost mapping out the hazards from the Polaroids.
And what you could then do is have, like, ghost traps that basically they've set that if you walk through this, it's sort of like, oh, look, it's a ghostly chime or something like that. So if I walk through this way,
right, maybe
I'll set off this chime and they'll know where I am. And it's about mapping through the doorways which way to go. And when you get into the room, it's like, okay, don't step through here because this shadow on the floor is actually a ghost chair that if you knock over, they're gonna.
Look, I think it would take some interesting balance, but I like the overall idea of the camera-based VR horror gameplay. That's really cool. All right, let's move on to
3, 2, 1. Moving on to a movie.
Movie my number 2. God. Malibu Rescue.
Okay. Cosmic Sin from 2021.
Okay. This one's from 2019. I want you to try to guess the name of the elite junior lifeguard from Malibu Rescue. Can you guess the name of the main character?
Ooh. Blake?
Close. It's along those lines.
Delake.
Not that close. One more guess.
Brad.
No, Tyler.
Yeah.
Very much. But, okay. What was yours? Cosmic
Sin.
Okay. I'm almost getting what was it? Fucking Nippers?
Oh my God.
Nobody's going to get that reference, but I really like the idea of combining the cheesy, stupid teen sexy lifeguard teen, whatever.
Yeah.
With
a cosmic horror. A cosmic threat. Yep.
Yeah. Some sort of fucking Cthulhu-esque something, or I don't know.
Yeah. So let's just say the Cosmic Sin is, it's a Bruce Willis vehicle. And if you know what he's been doing recently, it's not very good because his mind hasn't quite been the same.
Well,
so
I know.
He's been doing a lot of, in the year 2524, 4 centuries after humans started colonizing the outer planets, retired General James Ford gets called back into service when a hostile alien fleet attacks soldiers on a remote planet. The threat against mankind soon escalates into an interstellar war as Ford and a team of soldiers try to stop the imminent attack before it's too late.
All right. Well,
so none of that.
Okay, wait. Some aspects of it, because when a long list of shenanigans lands Tyler in hot water, he's forced to suit up and spend his summer training for an elite junior lifeguard program to fight back the cosmic forces that come out from the ocean every 200 years.
Yeah.
Like, essentially, I want this to be this asshole teen joins this new lifeguard program. He doesn't want to be there, blah, blah, blah. He gets to know people, but the reason that they are all there is because there's this, like, every 200 years, the ocean erupts into, these horrific beings that all come out and they're the last line of defense against them.
But of course, maybe they've actually forgotten when this is supposed to happen, or it's around every 200 years, but they're not sure.
Or but maybe they do have to figure out. They don't know the exact date. They know that there's a cycle. They know that for 6 generations or whatever, like, it's been passed down, but obviously information gets lost in that amount of time. Yeah.
I love this idea. This
is great.
And the fact that it's like these lifeguards, they're not there to save, like, the lives of people in the ocean. That's just something that they've added into their thing. Really, they're lifeguards because they guard life on Earth. They guard
life on Earth. Yeah.
Like.
Okay. All right. I love the premise. What sort of gameplay is this?
Third person, I'm thinking.
There's definitely an aspect of, we could just go sort of third person adventure-ish sort of thing, because there's obviously going to be the whole period of them even trying to figure out when it's coming. I guess we could do that. We could just go down, you've got to, it's a dramatic character story. You're trying to figure out the date, this sort of thing. Or we could obviously keep the premise, have it all explained in like a comic book intro, and then the game itself is almost waves of these things coming, and you have, like, you're building up your skills over time and stuff. You've got skill trees and things, or you've got not quite a roguelike, but like a bit more gamey.
So what I was thinking is that you could have like that comic book intro showing that, this is what lifeguards have done over the centuries and all this sort of stuff. Then you open up the game and it's like you're being taught like some of the typical life-saving skills, and it's about saving people from the ocean and all this sort of stuff. And then there's a part that is like, and if this happens, like, what you need to do is you need to, take off these creatures' heads and make sure that you put them into the pedestals at the base of the lifeguard tower or something like that. It's like, well, what's this? It's like, this is never going to happen, but like, it's just, this is one of the things
introducing it like that.
We all have to learn this.
If the water is clear from danger and someone is drowning, put a life jacket on them and bring them back to the ocean. If, however, you see dark tentacles rising from the deep, sacrifice the child to the sea god, because it's the only way you will get back alive, and immediately proceed to start the ritual of protection.
And look, if you can do it, just cut out their heart. Like, it'll help with the ritual a little bit. Like, what? It's like, it'll never happen. This is just, it's being passed down for generations. It'll never happen. And then the first mission is literally you're going and saving some people from drowning, and like some people having a fight on the beach. And then, at the end of that first wave, then there's tentacles rising from.
Yeah.
And, you save the kid. You don't sacrifice them.
Right. But then that sets off the whole, like, that causes problems.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I like the idea that from then on, it's sort of like you're going down and okay, this could happen at any time, that there's actual stuff, and your character could actually be freaking out, and everyone else is like, okay, I guess we've got to do it, because they all just, they blindly believe in this whole thing, and you being Tyler is like, not believing in it.
Okay, so I like all of that. I do still want to keep it pretty gamey in the actual. So what I'm always picturing is you've got segments on the beach, and it is just third person. or like in the lifeguard tower or whatever, and you've got that's sort of where your exposition's happening, and you can have some relationship stuff. But then I think you have like your shift on the beach. You've got a certain area that you're responsible for. I think it does stay third person while you're on the beach, so you're having to like look out and spot problems.
Oh, but you can go into first person with binoculars, I think.
Yeah, you can go into first person binoculars, but then I'm thinking when you go out into the water, the camera actually rises up into a more top down sort of view, and now you
can see the shadows under the water.
You can see the shadows under the water. You can kind of see what you need to avoid, where you need to get to. Maybe there's some like techniques around like recognizing currents or swimming against currents, or that you can boost a bit of extra speed, but you've got your stamina, and you're sort of trying to manage these different things to save the people.
And then later on, you've got to be up in the lookout tower and you're looking around going, okay, this area is safe over here for the moment. There's a lot of dark spots over here with tentacles rising from here, but we can put the flags over here so people can swim between the flags.
Yeah. You can do a bit of that.
Because people are still swimming. They don't care about the otherworldly horror because,
Well, maybe they didn't even see them. Maybe, like, the reason, that you have even been picked here is because you're one of the last of the bloodline of people who can actually do this job or something. But, yeah, that you then have techniques of, like, if you're rescuing a child and you're getting too close to the dark shadows, tentacles are coming up, just bleed them a bit. Like it will satisfy them enough for you to get back to shore. And yeah, bring in these different ritualistic kind of things in this satirical kind of, tongue-in-cheek kind of way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm definitely thinking a lot of gameplay-ish gameplay, if that makes sense. Like arcade, almost arcadey in a way, or just like
arcadey, and it just gets stupider and stupider as it goes along. Like,
yeah, and you get new tools or new, it's like, now you've got a jet ski, but
be careful, be careful because the Cthulhu beings can now walk on land. Like,
yeah, or something. Yeah.
If the dark spots get too close, they can walk on land or they can sacrifice most of the people on the beach. Like if they're left to their own devices. So you just take them out.
So yeah, I think you've literally got like, it's a 5-minute round or something, and you've just got to save as many kids as you can and fend off creatures with the different techniques you've used. And then even like you get paid for it, and then you can buy new things, like you can upgrade your jet ski to go faster, and you bring in some of those sorts of things where you're making choices about what tools you're going to have as these things get more vicious and different types come up. You get the land walkers, and you're literally having to fight them off, and people are running away screaming because all they see is you like coming out with a weird weapon that
glows and
orange sand. Whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool.
What about the other lifeguards? Do they see this, or is it only like the old sort of lifeguard that is like he's seeing it, but he's also like, oh, you're one of the chosen ones. Like,
yeah, it could be that. It could be that, because I think that brings in, because I want to definitely keep a lot of the tropes of like, he's this complete asshole when he gets there, but he comes to see the value of being a nice person, and probably has a love interest and whatever. But yeah, like the love interest doesn't see this stuff and thinks you're going crazy, and so you have some tension there.
What if the love interest was one of the Cthulhu beings?
The first day out, you lock eyes with lock eyes with all 15 eyes of a creature that comes up from the deep.
Yeah, the Cthulhu princess
plays.
Is like, oh,
yeah. Whatever, yeah.
And then they're running towards each other as like there's all these people getting disemboweled on the beach,
flinging like turning their head and flinging their tentacles back in the ocean spray.
That's so good.
I like that actually. I think we keep that bit for sure.
That's so cool.
Cool. God's a fun one.
3, 2, 1, movie.
It's a movie marathon.
Man of the House.
Urzuli. Erzulie. This was released last week.
Wow.
The 14th of June, 2022. A reunion between four friends quickly goes awry when they find themselves face to face with Erzulie, the swamp mermaid goddess.
Okay, cool. Texas Ranger Roland Sharp is assigned to protect the only witnesses to the murder of a key figure in the prosecution of a drug kingpin. A group of University of Texas cheerleaders. Sharp must now go undercover as an assistant cheerleading coach and move in with the young women.
Oh, God.
Tommy
And
Lee
one
Jones.
of them is the swamp mermaid goddess. I mean, swamp mermaid goddess almost feels too similar to the last game in that way, but we could take it in a different direction.
Yep.
Yeah, like, what is who is he that he has to move in with a bunch of cheerleaders?
Texas Ranger.
He's a oh my God. Okay.
Assigned to protect the only witnesses to the murder of a key figure. Erzulie.
Erzulie, the swamp. Okay, actually, I like that. It's like a mismatched pair sort of thing.
The odd couple.
The odd couple kind of thing, but one is a swamp mermaid goddess and the other is a Texas Ranger having to protect her because she needs to testify.
Yeah. What's she testifying against? Like mob bosses? A mob boss who drowned a guy in her swamp? Like,
who has drowned many guys in her swamp. Yeah.
And she's got the collection of concrete shoes. If the shoe fits.
Well, I think she knows all the dates. She knows all the... There is a twist. There's a slight conflict of interest, though, because him dropping all those bodies there was feeding her and made her strong enough to even, be able to escape from the swamp. So,
yeah, it gave her enough human facial features or enough human features to then be able to live above water.
Right, yeah, because she needed human DNA
to approximate lungs and all those sorts of things. Yeah.
Has she still got the tail? Like, is this almost a bit of splash in here?
If she gets wet with swamp water, but only swamp water.
if she gets rancid swamp water on her, then
the tail comes back. Other than that, she's fine.
So what is the game here?
You play the Texas Ranger and you got to stop her from like jumping in mud puddles and all this sort of stuff. Like, because
she just can't resist jumping in muddy puddles like Peppa Pig, except that she turns into a fucking swamp mermaid. Can we even make a game out of this?
I don't know, but it's
freaking
hilarious.
It is hilarious. I just I kind of want to try to figure out how you would do it.
Adventure game logic.
I mean, yeah, I guess so. It would just have to be sort of.
Oh, I've got the perfect thing. It's a match
narrative. 3. I honestly did think of that.
We haven't done that. Like cop out for ages.
It's not always a cop out. In this case, it would be a cop out. Well, now I'm just thinking how the match 3 works. It's like don't match too many swamp water cards because that will turn her and you'll get
it's like you've got a time limit on this one because you got to clear out all the rancid swamp water, otherwise the mobsters will work out who she is.
No, all right, that's fine. That'll do.
Okay, fair enough.
3, 2, 1 movie. It was a fun idea, but I'm not sure where. Yeah, anyway. No.
Inside Man.
Sorry. The way you said that, it like
reminded you of Matt Berry?
No, it didn't. It was more just like I would have said Inside Man.
Yeah. Because
it's like a man on the inside. But you said it like inside man, as in like you're inside a man.
It is Inside Man, but inside
man. Yeah. Nocturne.
When an armed masked gang enter a Manhattan bank, lock the doors and take hostages, the detective assigned to effect their release enters negotiations preoccupied with corruption charges he is facing.
Sounds boring.
Yeah.
This one is inside the halls of an elite arts academy. A timid music student begins to outshine her more accomplished and outgoing twin sister when she discovers a mysterious notebook belonging to a recently deceased classmate.
Inside him. Inside man.
Inside man.
Yes.
It's a man who can go inside things. How did you get inside there? None of us can go through a doorway. In a world full of in a world where no one can go through doorways.
It's just like I'm picturing nothing's actually sealed off or anything like that. It's just like huge archways that.
Yeah, there's no inside in this world. The inside is like outer space. It's like the unknown. They've never been able to explore it because they can't make themselves go through doorways.
That's just too stupid. So let's just go with the notebook was found inside their like classmate.
Yes. I got really dark with it actually in my mind and started like thinking that whatever started happening, the reason the way she's finding this text that is making her more skilled is that it's like on the inside of her skin, that she like is peeling parts of it back and reading. That's too far gone. But yeah, that's just horror movie situation. I don't know if we can go there in a game.
Whereas coming across a dead classmate and they've got like their belly is kind of not quite neatly sewn, but it's sort of like there's a little bow and they pull it back and it's like there's a notebook inside. Like,
why would you pull them?
Because it's a present.
Okay. Is it a rhythm game? Like a gory body horror rhythm game?
Why not? Let's go with a gory rhythm horror. It's like you if you stay on the beat, you kind of holding back the urges to vomit and that sort of stuff. So it's sort of like if you do badly, then you feel more nauseous and more sickly.
Start bleeding from the eyes and
I like that. I like that a lot. Like
I'm
sort of thinking the type of rhythm game that I'd like this to be is more of a, Elite Beat Agents or Ostakatu Uwindon.
Yeah.
Rather than a Guitar Hero sort of game. Because
I don't think it's a Guitar Hero sort of game. I think it's more around, I mean, that was, you can do it in VR like that, actually. Because, I mean, the thing with Elite Beat Agents is like, it was on the DS, so you had the stylus, and it was very much like moving between, or like tapping and then moving, but also like doing slides between points and stuff.
Yeah, but doing that in 3D of tap, bang, and like
moving things around, dragging things around. Oh, you're saying you're actually like trying to move around the environment in the thing. Yeah, maybe. I do like the idea of a gross horror rhythm game. I'm just trying to figure out how we get there.
Stab down, open up, pull out guts, pull out guts, pull out guts, tied in a bow.
So like you're trying to just, I mean, just doing interactions on the beat in VR could be interesting. I don't know how broad you could make it before it. Yeah, I mean, I guess if you've got a goal, because then you're almost doing like, what was it? Fucking office simulator. Is that what it was called?
Yeah, job simulator.
Job simulator, but in a gory way. Yeah. Which, I mean, could work.
Be fun. You could come up with lots of little things like that.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out how that would play out. I do like the idea of like you miss a beat and you see in VR on your arm like weird boils starting to like your skin starts to bubble or something.
I know. I kind of like the idea of if you like you were showing me that game the other day. I can't remember what it was called. Where you
Metal Hellsinger, yeah.
So you can miss beats, but I think that each action that you do, it has to be on the beat. Like, so it doesn't.
Well, yeah, I mean,
it doesn't have to be. I've got to open up the cereal box and eat. And
I guess it depends on where that. The thing is, like in Metal Hellsinger, that's fine. You can miss beats, but the change there comes from you do more damage if you attack on the beat, and then you've got like combos, so that if you don't do well first, you know, if you do things not on the beat or you just leave it for long enough and don't shoot at all, then your combo meter starts going down. So I'm trying to sort of figure out how that could play into.
I mean, it works well that, you know, as you're doing these things, like if you in this room, you've got these are the things that you're actually doing and stabbing the person and going down and all this sort of stuff. If you do it on the beat and you get the combo going, great. You're gonna get a high score multiplier, and it's like, you know, you can go on a leaderboard.
Like rhythm murder simulator.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I think let's move on.
Inside Man.
Inside Man.
No.
Oh, I got another Pixar film.
No. Nope.
All right. You got something?
A Perfect World. 1993.
Monsters Incorporated. I don't think we do a fucking like Pixar Monsters Incorporated tie-in game. I think we maybe take the idea of Monsters Incorporated as a title and bring that into something else.
Maybe not the synopsis of a kidnapped boy strikes up a friendship with his captor, an escaped convict on the run from the law, headed by an honorable U.S. Marshal.
No.
So I'm going to click again.
Well. I mean, we could potentially just use the titles here as prompts.
Yeah, it might help a little bit better. Let's just go through some of the dodgy ones that I've got so far. Barbie of Swan Lake.
Yeah, maybe not. It could just be about a barbecue.
There's a movie from 2019 called The Room. Kate and Matt discover that a part of their house can grant wishes. In the wake of 2 miscarriages, what they want most is a child.
That sounds sounds difficult to do as a game.
Yeah. Good Kill. In the shadowy world of drone warfare, a combat unfolds like a video game, only with real lives at stake.
I mean, maybe look. I think I like the idea of taking Monsters Inc. and thinking, okay, what could a company completely putting aside the Pixar movie, a company called Monsters Incorporated, like what is that?
Okay,
and then we could bring in elements of some of the like of another movie you got, like maybe it is around remote controlling these monsters or something. Like they actually create these creatures. Like maybe almost in a cabin in the woods kind of way. This is the company who creates creatures that are remote controlled to go and haunt, like to go and scare the shit out of and kill teenagers at summer camp.
Okay. Monsters Incorporated is definitely a factory in which they create monsters.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we're both in agreement there.
Yeah.
Now, the reason why they need to create these monsters is population control.
Okay.
So
of humans.
Like it turns out that the Earth can only sustain so many people. The best way that this I'm picturing a billionaire.
I mean, probably that's who would do it.
Yep. He realized
they've taken it upon themselves to,
you know, Thanos was right. And
yeah, it's a totally immoral position, but you are now in charge of
thinning out the herd
of creating these monsters to kill people, you know, on a large enough scale.
Now, I don't mind being a little bit like, now I'm sort of saying it, I'm sort of going, maybe, you know, you can take monster to be a lot of things. And then I started thinking, no, that's just kind of a bad idea because you're kind of going into like murder simulator sort of thing. And that's
right. Yeah. No, I think it needs to be, because I think this is
universal horror monsters of you're creating vampires.
Yeah. Potentially. Yeah.
And monsters under the bed.
Like because we definitely need to take, this is obviously a satire of what a billionaire like fucking Elon Musk would probably do. He'd come up with some stupid idea and then make it happen. And I mean, we could bring in elements of, as you realize what you're doing, you like turn against it or something. Or I don't know. You could bring in some actual morality there so that it's not just a game about, fulfilling the evil whims of a billionaire. But I think you can make it sort of wacky enough and silly enough that it's not too jarring that you're literally wiping out huge numbers of the population. Because then I'm sort of thinking of like, oh, over time you research or you build up new monsters, like you're almost building your way all the way up to like a kaiju style, Godzilla-esque creature that's going to be able to, take out thousands of people all in one go or whatever.
Yeah, before being taken out themselves, because, some of these vampires that you've created earlier, they were kind of stupid and didn't think about, don't stay out after sunrise, and they get burnt up. Like, they only killed one or two people and didn't even turn them into vampires themselves.
Yeah. Well, because I'm almost, I guess it's how abstract you want to get with this. Like, I'm almost picturing this as a plague ink, but instead of diseases that you're sending out and have various effects in different places of the world, it's, you're strategically sending out, vampires to the right place. It's like, okay, I'm going to send vampires to Iceland, but oops, I sent them in the wrong part of the year. It's sunny the whole time and they all died. But if you send them in the other half of the year, okay, they're going to do pretty well. Like, it's sort of being strategic about where you send which different types of monsters.
But maybe they did too well, and then you don't want people to understand it, so you create a Van Helsing to go and take out the
counteract. Yeah. So it's, for one, that will abstract us a little bit away from actually seeing humans being massacred.
I like the idea of it being that kind of like, I haven't really watched many of the latest series of The Boys, but Vought at the end of the first season, we're basically trying to engineer, bad guys so that they're good guys could fight against. The idea being that they engineer the good guys to fight against the bad guys so that they're not found out as such.
I think we're both warring with our own consciences. Consciences. That's where I was going. Consciences here, because we don't agree with mass genocide.
However,
Jesus. There is, I suppose, something to be said for a satirical view of a billionaire trying to do this and being strategic about where to send different, nonsensical monsters across the world. And then, getting to eventually build up enough, money points to manufacture kaiju and different huge creatures.
Yep. I really like the kaiju. It's very much, that's more for the Japanese audience. That's where they normally attack. So traditionally,
well, no, you can't send it to Japan because they know how to fight it off.
Oh, true.
They've seen enough Godzilla movies.
But it's got to be a harbour town, a harbour city. So maybe Sydney.
Yeah, sure. They won't know what to do with when fucking the giant lizard comes out of the harbour,
takes out the bridge,
takes out the bridge, eats the opera house.
Yep,
because it looks like a big tasty taco
or nachos. Yeah,
nachos. Yeah, and then you could have you could have it that where you can't just repeat the same things because that area learns how to fight against them. They start building up resistances and the people are fighting back against these monsters and sharing information. And, by the time you get to the end game, it's an apocalypse. It's a post-apocalyptic world at that point, but with all these super strong monster hunters out there all fighting off your creatures.
Yeah. So, sending bunyips to America, they wouldn't know what to do because, it's not part of their folklore.
Yeah, that's it. And shoot some drop bears over there.
Sending a Jersey Devil into Japan, that's almost perfect. You could go down so many different levels of, everyone knows the classic movie monsters. So what if you tweaked it a little bit? That it was a vampiric werewolf. What would you do there? It's.
Well, exactly. Well, that's sort of where I was getting with the Plague Inc. thing. Cause in that, I think that's the one I'm thinking of where you engineer the virus, but that you can choose different ways for these monsters to go and give them different abilities, but then they get weaknesses as well, which could just be randomly generated. It's I've got a thing from the swamp that, a swamp mermaid goddess that, but she,
you came up with that one just off the top of your head. That's great.
But she's sensitive to silver or whatever, or, you take all the elements from all the different creatures and they can be randomly applied in different ways.
Mm-hmm. I like that, but 3, 2, 1 movie.
Yeah, oops, I did words. Oh, well, that one's too... I can't do Shaun of the Dead.
No.
I mean, I guess we could have and just take it into a completely different direction, but I think it's too... yeah.
The Long Kiss Goodnight.
Then came you.
So, our character has a long kiss goodnight, and then their partner came. Like...
That's not where I thought you were going with that. I mean, yeah, this sounds like a romance of sorts. It's an interesting way to play out a romance story in a game that hasn't been done.
I
mean, I know that's a big ask. Match 3.
Okay. The entire thing is kind of like the insult sword fighting from Monkey Island, but it's like it's
like flirting.
It's flirting. So it's all about saying the right punchlines to like opening lines.
Pick up lines. Maybe this is like a pretend Tinder-esque app on your phone. Mm-hmm. It's a phone game.
Yeah.
Did we do that already? Did we tell a story through that? I don't know. Anyway, like Emily's away, or that style of game.
Yep.
Where you get to like swipe left and right until you get a match, and then it furthers the story through like chats and sending photos back and forth. And then, I mean, it could change up. You could bring in different elements then of you go on a date or whatever. Now you're not in the app anymore or whatever. You change up the gameplay, to match 3, or something. But, you have to match up the different wine. You have to match wine to determine how much you drink on the date.
Did you forget the condoms?
Yeah, I mean, exactly.
Okay. It's like you accidentally spill out your purse onto the ground, and it's like the match 3 is you like putting all the things back in your bag.
Getting all the things back. Matching up the 3 lipsticks and mints and coins and things.
It reminds me of the idea that we had ages and ages ago about like a match 3 game, but you didn't want to match 3 because then that thing disappeared. Like,
right. It's like a Tetris thing where, you make a line and they all disappear. It's like, fuck. I wanted that stuff.
I left that gap there for a reason. 3-1 movie. We got to go again.
Yeah.
Can't finish on that one.
This is going off the rails. Yeah. Oh,
God. Oh, God. No, another one.
This isn't even about what it sounds like, but I'm not doing a movie called Crypto.
Mm-hmm. Was it like cryptozoological?
No, it's a young agent is tasked with investigating a tangled web of corruption and fraud in New York. I don't even know where crypto... No. I mean, probably just cryptography.
Probably. 2001's The Glass House.
Okay.
Have you ever seen that film before?
No.
It's a thriller.
No.
When Ruby and Rhett's parents are killed in a car accident, their carefree teenage lives are suddenly shattered. Moving to an incredible house in Malibu with the Glasses, old friends of the family, seems to be the beginning of a new life for them.
Wait, the family's name is Glass?
Yes.
That's a cop-out. It's a very good movie called The Glass House.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I got Follow Me, which looks like a horror from 2020. A social media personality travels with his friends to Moscow to capture new content for his successful vlog. Always pushing the limits and catering to a growing audience, they enter a cold world of mystery, excess, and danger. When the lines between real life and social media are blurred, the group must fight to escape and survive.
Look, I like going with horror. Again, I think horror works well.
What if this is a reality TV show where they are literally living in a glass house?
Mm-hmm.
In a sort of Big Brother-esque way, but like the gimmick is anyone, like the public can just see from the outside,
in anytime that they want.
See in,
but they can't see out.
Oh god, it's all mirrored on the inside.
Yeah.
Okay. That could play out in interesting
I
ways.
don't know. I'm now getting the feel of like, what if the game's in this Big Brother-esque sort of house? Yeah. So it starts off that you're doing these sort of menial tasks and all this sort of stuff. Then one of the days, like, Big Brother's just silent.
Okay.
And everyone's just going along like normal. And your character is like talking to other people and going, have you noticed that we haven't had a task today? And all this sort of stuff. And some of them are just like, oh yeah, it's probably just a mind game.
Yeah.
But it's like you could play with that of, like, you go into the diary room and...
Is it a survival game?
Well, I'm just wondering if you go into the diary room and, like, the door's open, or one of the exit doors is, like, cracked open
ajar.
Cracked open a touch.
Yep.
You could have a bit of fun with, as you go towards, like, the door just gets shut.
Slams shut and then it's locked, yeah.
And you could really play around with, is this still being filmed? Is this still, being broadcast to the outer audience? Or has there something more sinister been going on? And
yeah, I do like that idea of,
because the glass house kind of makes me
Big
think
Brother
of
going
mirrored, they can see.
Yeah, we take that more as a metaphor thing, maybe rather than a literal glass house, sure. I do like playing with the reality TV Big Brother sort of thing.
Just obviously you don't call it Big Brother. You call it the Glass House.
It's like Large Sibling or whatever. Yeah, you call it the Glass House for sure. That's the name of the show.
Yeah. And you can just do some simple things of you're having conversations, or you got other people having conversations. You got to make meals. You got to do a task.
I think you make it a cross between like an adventure game and a survival game almost. Like I do actually like those survival aspects of at different times of day. You get hungry. You do have to make meals. You're running out of food, and you don't know of any ways to get it. Like it's not a survival game of like scavenging for food. You have hunger and thirst meters, and the pantry's getting empty. And
you guys haven't won a task,
Jeremy,
because Jeremy's been a dumb little prick.
Well, and he's been like eating all the cookies, and we don't know what's going on because we haven't heard from.
And his whole rationality
Large Sibling in 2 days
is literally that Large Sibling won't make us won't let us starve.
Yeah, it's fine. Like it's all just a mind game. Like they're going to give us food soon. As if they're going to let us starve. But yeah, you keep seeing all these like creepy things happening. And
okay, so I think at one stage Jeremy gets killed because fuck Jeremy.
Well, I think first he gets evicted, but without any like the usual
fanfare
announcement or whatever. He's just gone, and like all his stuff's gone,
and
you just assume that this is like a thing they're doing. They're evicting him, but then his body turns up
in the pool. Like, it's one of those retractable things. Like,
oh, yeah.
The backyard opens up and there's the pool. It's like, and his body's just floating in it. Like,
yeah.
And all my stuff is there.
All his stuff.
All his stuff is literally being thrown in the pool. And then it's kind of like a whodunit within the, like, you get.
Well, now it's just a mindfuck of like, is this part of the game somehow? Like, is someone taken over the game that they're messing with? Is there a mole? Like, is there someone in the house who's working for them? Because like we haven't seen anyone come and go.
I'm loving this already. And then a different sounding Big Brother comes on board and is like, okay, housemates. So
then it becomes like a jigsaw.
It can just be
not in quite that way, but
it can just be like, it's a different sounding thing of, they're trying to make it sound as though this is part of the task for the week,
But the tasks do start getting more and more hazardous.
Yeah. And other people get evicted throughout the game, and you end up being like one of the last three, and there's food, but it's mystery meat, and you're cooking it up and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah, the food starts getting really weird and non-specific. Yeah, that's cool. I like that.
Okay, so let's come up with an ending for it.
Okay.
You
have to literally throw a stone through the glass house to get out.
Yeah, because I
smash the
I like the idea that all the stones that you pick up in there are literally just rubber rubber balls sort of things. Like it's so fake, this entire place. There's nothing.
All the metaphorical stones.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
But maybe there's like.
So yeah, there's nothing heavy enough that you can manage to smash it through.
Yep.
And I'm picturing this as like first person just because we talked about sort of the survival aspect. So yeah, I think you can just pick stuff up around, like throw it. People will react if you throw stuff around.
Yeah, and I'm thinking simple cooking mechanics and that sort of stuff of, you know, being able to pick up an ingredient and throw it in the pan
like,
and
put it in the pan, it cooks, you got to take it off the right time. Yeah.
Having, you know, things happen at night, like you fall asleep and then you get maybe a view of like, in a vignette sort of thing of someone watching cameras. And then you get a vignette of you see Cheryl sleepwalking to the kitchen and like opening up the fridge and, you know.
Right. You see like the night vision camera, you know, view of the cameras. Yeah.
And it's just different people, like different things just sort of get picked up. You go for, you know, 2 days without hearing from Big Brother, then you're hearing from him again, but it sounds a bit different. And
I think
large sibling.
Just ramping up the tension, basically. Just the creepiness of it, the weirdness of it. Until obviously Jeremy shows up dead and now you're like, oh, fucking, like, this isn't right. And now it's how the fuck do we get out of here? Because all the doors are locked. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like you don't have anything hard enough to like break through the mirrors.
And the only way to get food in the house is by completing the tasks. But some of the tasks are getting a bit fucked up.
Yeah. Like, so your hunger meter is, that's how you do it.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Because literally it's like, if you're not going to play the game, then you don't get any food and you will starve. And the idea is that, you know, you get to a point and you can almost script it that like they're going to find some sort of food and it could just be moldy. And it's like, I don't know. I kind of like the idea of, you know, you're not going to die as such. Like you could make it through the entire game without eating anything, but you start to hallucinate and you get more.
Something
more horror like that.
You can do it a gamey way. Like, yes, you're not actually going to starve within, you know, a week or whatever, but you can't get up out of bed or something, whatever. Yeah. Like you could also have, like you get called into the diary room and you get the opportunity to backstab the other people in certain ways in return for food.
Yeah.
Or other things.
Or in the late part of the game or in return for weapons. Like.
Yeah, it just becomes full Hunger Games by the end.
I know you could play a lot with the psychological horror of, you know, did you really see that hand on the inside of the mirror?
Oh yeah.
Like, and it's one of those things that you see it and you come back and it's like, no, it's not there. Or you get too close and it's like just slides down and then disappears. And it's like,
that's cool. Yeah. There's definitely some fun stuff you can do. We've done a lot of horror-y stuff tonight.
Yeah, but I think movies, they lean into horror quite a bit. I kind of want to go a little bit further into this, if you don't mind going a little bit longer.
We can keep going a bit if you've got some more.
Yeah, so some of the things that I would like to see is like, because of course you got some of the cameras inside the system.
Yeah, that are following you or other people.
Maybe you've got like a part where you're trying to sneak through the garden and it's like you're waiting for the camera to sort of move enough and potentially you can get Cheryl and someone else to have a bit of a discussion,
a fight or something, or just make a distraction.
You see the camera go over, and therefore you can sort of sneak around the outside to be able to hit like a switch that opens up, you know, the tool shed or something like that. Like obviously there's something in the tool shed that you can usually get out of, and
you could even have it that like you get to a certain point where, from a gameplay point of view, like if you are out of view of any cameras, you get like big large sibling comes over the thing and says like, you know, can Janet please? Janet needs to make her way back into view. Like, you know,
you have 5 seconds to comply.
Yeah, and so you know that that's a factor, and you know that that's a thing. But yeah, that you find something like that where it's like you only there's something you can do in those 5 or 10 seconds,
or it's enough that, you know, they're not paying attention to you because they're paying attention to this massive fight, and you may get an extra 20 seconds on that, and then all of a sudden they realize
right before they notice. Yeah.
I know. I love the idea of the glass house being this sort of reality show with, obvious Big Brother connections with the diary room and all this sort of stuff. Like,
you play on those tropes. But yeah, I like that as a concept for sure.
Yeah, and then you can. I do like the idea that you don't get a choice as to, you're not putting anyone up for eviction or anything like that. People are just getting evicted, and it's one of these things that is like, you don't have to go through, the gaminess of, oh, I'm making an alliance with these people. It's like people are being kicked out of the house, and
yeah, I mean, you could almost do it. You could almost do a bit of because it could be fun to have to vote, and you could almost just have some slightly branching things where it's almost just what order they get out in, and so one character may or may not be there for certain events or something. Maybe bringing in a bit of the Until Dawn kind of things, or those sort of aspects of it where it just might play out slightly differently if different characters are still there or not.
I like that,
just to give that player a bit more
agency,
a bit more of a feeling. Yeah, they've actually got some agency and are making changes. But yeah, knowing that when you evict someone, they're getting killed, or probably could be an interesting thing.
You could even by having random tasks coming up and that sort of stuff, the replayability could be there, and seeing who you can have survive. And
well, you could have different characters being good or bad at different types of tasks as well. And then you're having to be strategic about fucking, Billy is terrible at these types of tasks, and we've been getting a bunch of them. We need to get rid of him so that we can actually win these things and get food. Yeah, you could bring in some more of the actual systems-based stuff there too.
Yeah, I like it.
It's cool.
I really like it.
Yeah. All right, but I think that is all we've got time for tonight. So if you would like to find our previous episodes, you can go to podchaser.com/bitstorm and check them out there. Have a listen. Leave us a review, a rating. We'd love to hear from you.
Yes. If you like the music that we play at the start and end of each of our episodes, from episode 13 onwards, I think it was Mount Defiance off of the album Containment Failure by the band Kuradust. Just look for kuradust.bandcamp.com on your
That's right.
web browser.
Web browser thing.
Yeah.
The Webifier.
Yeah.
That's right. So thank you again for joining us this week on Bitstorm. I'm Ben Slinger.
I'm Trevor Scott, and people who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones.
Unless there's a
creepy murderer or large sibling after you.
Or a swamp mermaid goddess outside who you need to hit with a rock.